Welcome back, Bill PIDTO. How are you doing, Bill?
I'm good. Uh, I'm sure you miss me. No,
Mm,
it hasn't been. It has not been that long a time since we last talked. But obviously, we got huge news with Donovan Mitchell here last week.
yes, in fact, definitely. Where were you when the Woj bomb dropped? And
I was
what were your
actually
instant
at
thoughts?
Citi Field watching the Mets, the baseball team, playing host to the Dodgers on a beautiful day here in the United States on the East Coast, in the New York metropolitan area. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It just goes to show you that all of the reporting around these things before they occur are rarely accurate. No one
Yeah,
had this. No one had this. In fact, if you remember, a week prior, the reports were that the Cavs had dropped out of the trade conversations. So
yeah.
uh,
Mm,
I just, I've just mentioned this before we started recording. I would not have given up RJ Barrett and three unprotected number ones. That's what Utah was demanding. Fine, move on. Also, to me, I don't know if Mitchell comes here if he's a great fit. You'd have him and Brunson. We talked about this the last time I was on. You had Mitchell, Brunson, RJ, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson. I just don't think you have enough ball movement, enough spacing, enough outside shooting. So who knows how this is going to play out long term, but I'm okay with them not making the move.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, obviously the fit was questionable, and obviously ball dominant guys. But yeah, the Knicks move on now. Homegrown players. Quentin Grimes drafted by the Knicks. Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly drafted. R.J. Barrett drafted by the Knicks. Jalen Brunson signed as a free agent. Well, but R.J. Barrett's extension solidifies him as, if not the face of the franchise, one of the faces. What did you think of the R.J. Barrett extension and the role coming into his fourth year?
So I think the extension on that Monday night, actually a week ago, yesterday, basically told Utah that we're not going to do the deal because I don't think Danny Ainge wanted to commit to that extension. Utah's trying to clear cap space. The Knicks got RJ on an extension that's not the rookie max extension. It was 4 years instead of 5, 120 million or so instead of 160 million. So that's for the good. The one thing for RJ going forward here is, to me, he got to 20 points per game last year. That was his goal, but he only shot 40%. So the efficiency has to get better. The shooting percentage has to get better. One of the things that the Knicks and the fan base loves about RJ Barrett is that he's someone that works really hard, very dedicated to his craft, great team guy. So hopefully he can improve the shooting percentage. I think that's the one thing that we should look for that needs to get better. Randall, too, and Barrett need to be more efficient next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing off of Randall is key, but Jalen Brunson's in here, the key addition. How do you see his fit with RJ? Now that Spider's not here, would you prefer to see RJ at the 2? Or do you think Fournier or Grimes are at the 2, RJ at the 3?
Alan Hahn, who we work with, as everybody knows, on MSU Network, thinks that the Knicks should start Grimes. He thinks that Grimes and Brunson would be a better fit than Fournier and Brunson. Very interesting. And you bring Fournier off with the second unit, Rose and Quickly. Maybe Grimes is the better fit. But my thing is that they need someone to hit the outside shot. And I just think at this point, Fournier may be more accomplished than Grimes, who has shown potential, but we don't know really what he's going to be. You have got to have an outside shooter in that group, to me, with Brunson, RJ, and Randall. Brunson's about a 37% career three-point shooter and doesn't take that many per game. RJ struggled from 3 last year. Randall really struggled from 3 last year. So I think Brunson's a good fit, hopefully, in terms of running the offense. But my concern is the lack of overall outside shooting on this team.
Yeah, and for me, I would add defense. With Fournier and Brunson, 2 guys that are not known, to be able to stop players from scoring in this NBA with the dynamic backcourt. But yeah, I think Quentin Grimes has got going to have an opportunity in training camp, Bill. He was kept out of all the deals, reportedly, all the negotiations, which has to give him a big heap of confidence, heading in.
He played really well last year before he hurt his knee, and then was kind of spotty because the knee was clearly bothering him. showed some really good signs. Is he an NBA starter? I don't know. I know that the coaches and the organization loves his defense. And if he can be consistent from outside, you get the 3 and D, then you really have something. So obviously this is a huge year for Grimes, and it will be very interesting to see if he starts.
Do you see Cam Reddish vying for an opportunity to be in this rotation in training camp? 6'8", gives the Knicks a different look.
Where would you see him playing? I don't see him playing because the second unit, let's assume they start Fournier. You got Obi, Hartenstein, Rose, Quickly, Grimes. And we all know Tibbs doesn't play more than 10, ever.
Yep.
So where do you see? I don't see Reddish being in the rotation right now. Where would you see him fitting in? Who would come out?
I would say the only chance he has is vying for that bench role, which would be v Grimes, v Fournier. If he could beat one of them out, maybe.
There's no way.
Maybe
Come on,
Fournier
man. There's no way.
Fournier gets moved.
They're not going to. Well, if they trade Fournier, that's one thing. But they're not. There's no way he's beating Grimes out. And there's no way he's playing in front of Fournier. Fournier's making all that money. So,
okay.
To me, for Reddish to be in that top 10, to be in the rotation, they have to eliminate somebody. Now, maybe, hopefully it doesn't happen. Maybe Rose gets hurt again.
Yeah.
Let's hope not. If there's an injury, that changes things. But I think as we sit here right now, Reddish is out of the rotation. And that's one of the reasons I think why he reportedly asked for a trade.
Yes. Yep. Reportedly would be open to a change of scenery. But yeah, contract year, Leon Rose did trade for him. So you would think that they would want to give him a good chance, a good look with that. Obi Toppin also reports that, Tom Thibodeau had won over Tom Thibodeau, and Tom's more open to playing Obi. Could you see a combination of him, playing next to Julius, or, how do you see the minutes situation playing out with those two?
Obi would get a lot more minutes if Tibbs would be willing to play Obi and Randall together, but he just doesn't want to do that. And now they got Hartenstein to back up Mitch and Jericho Sims. So I don't see Randall playing with Obi. Maybe Obi gets more minutes and Randall plays less. Maybe one of the problems is that Randall's playing too many minutes. Obi was electric down the stretch last year, but as we talked about last time, it's very hard to measure how well these guys played quickly when you're playing against teams that have nothing to play for in games that don't mean anything. But Obi sure showed some potential in the last 10 games or so of last year. So, look, Coach Tibbs not always willing to give these guys a lot of playing time. Maybe this is the year he does in terms of Quickly and Toppin, etc.
Yeah, you would think coming into their third years, Bill, having that experience, playoff experience in their rookie years as well. The bench looks to be, the key strength to this team, in my opinion, as currently constructed. Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly, then you got whoever else is at the 3, Obi, Hartenstein, new addition as well. How do you see the Knicks getting an advantage this season in the tough East?
Well, to me, Rose is the key. When he was healthy 2 years ago and he suited up, they went 24-11. Last year without him, he was nicked up in November and then shut down in December, had the ankle surgery, didn't play again. They really struggled down the stretch. Rose in the final 5 minutes of these close games is so important. And to me, a lot of not only the bench, but the whole team is going to hinge on a healthy Derrick Rose. Maybe he and Brunson would be good finishing games together.
Yeah,
we'll have to see. But I think a healthy Derrick Rose is not only important to that bench that was so effective 2 years ago, but also really important to the entire team.
You got to finish out games well, Bill. Like you said, the free throw shooting was an issue. So RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle even missed some key free throws. That's another big element. So, but I think the center rotation, the depth now, Mitchell Robinson coming back, he's going to have a huge year. We know Tom Thibodeau loves that rim protection and rebounding.
Yeah, Robinson hopefully stays healthy, and I think one thing we can look forward to when Hartenstein plays with that second unit is he comes away from the basket. Unlike the other Knicks centers that we've seen here in recent years, he's good away from the basket, good passing the ball, good at spacing the floor. So that could be an interesting twist with Hartenstein in that second unit.
Yep. And in terms of the Vegas 39, we talked about it. You're still taking the over, no spider. How high do you think the Knicks can go?
I think they can win. I think they can win 43 games and get into the play-in. I think a good year would be to win a play-in scenario and get into the first round. But to me, 39 and a half is too low. I think they can maybe go 43 and 39, 44, 38, something like that.
Yeah, completely agree. I think between 40, 45. And I've got to take care of home, Bill. The home games are key in this East. Playing all these teams, got to take care of business at Madison Square Garden. And of course, was it 73 games on MSG this season?
Yeah, first one preseason October 4. We got 4 preseason games beginning October 4th. And then, as we mentioned, you just mentioned, we got 73 during the regular season. So we're really excited about all of that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have some stuff coming your way in the playoffs.
Yep. Before I leave you, Bill, you interviewed Jalen Brunson in his introduction. What stood out to you from being close up and getting a feel for Jalen?
Just his maturity. He went to Villanova. He's one of these guys that wasn't a one and done. He was a 2-time national champ at Villanova, player of the year, grinded his way through after being drafted in the 2nd round with Dallas, and now is being paid like a frontline player. And I was just taking more than anything else. He's got a lot of competitiveness, a lot of grit, but overall the maturity. He's a very well-spoken young guy, and hopefully he's going to be the Knicks' answer at point guard. I was looking this up. Since 2009, only one point guard has started more than one opening night. One since 2009. You guess who it is? That's a good question for you. One point guard since 2009 has started more than one opening night.
Raymond Felton.
Good job, my man. Good job. That's it. That's it.
It's insane. It's how bad we've needed this point guard. And I think he's going to be like Derrick Rose was 2 years ago, but 48 minutes of that kind of point guard play.
Yeah, it'd be good. That could really change things around. Let's hope. Yeah. We love Alec Burks, but playing him at point, not the answer.
No. He's tough too. He's underrated. He's actually, you would have seen his frame. He's pretty strong, Jalen, isn't he?
Only problem, he's a little short. So,
yeah.
Undersized height-wise. But.
And how's the rest of the MSG team and the chat? Is it heating up as we get
I would
closer?
say last week, Thursday, when the Mitchell thing hit, it was off the rails. The thing is that Knicks did not want to give up players and draft picks, and Utah was demanding RJ and draft picks, and that one or the other.
Yeah,
they were not going to give up 3 unprotected number ones. That would leave them basically with no draft capital going forward. Plus RJ Barrett, I'm glad they didn't do it.
Well, like I said, homegrown. Not how many players the Knicks drafted that they still have now and can develop. It's going to be a big year, and I'm excited. Stay tuned, everybody. MSG Networks. Appreciate your time, Bill.
All right, we'll talk to you maybe around the start of the season. Okay.
Yep, got you.
All right, good to see you, man.